Welcome to Operation Greatness Action Podcast number 53. This is entitled, If You're Still Strong, Humanity Needs You. First of all, when you hear those words, do you see yourself as one of the strong people left? Because if you are, then we need you. What does that mean for you? Well, and first of all, if you're not one of the strong humans left, then are you one of the weak ones? And how could you have allowed yourself to become weak? And more importantly, if you are weak right now and you acknowledge that, then what are you doing about that to become strong, to get yourself among the few remaining strong people out there? Pause and reflect on each of these questions and talk about your answers in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. This is the action pod number 53 of our Operation Greatness freeingthematrix.com and Parasite Cleansed podcast. This is our chapter meeting for today for every one of us leading our own Operation Greatness chapters in our communities as well as among all our online friends. And anyway, this is the most important focus for every one of us to have, because the world is requiring every one of us to be strong, to remain steadfastly in our power, in our center, reconnected with life, reconnected with each other, reconnected with our purpose. And this is the work for every one of us now. You know that. You feel that. It's important for you to acknowledge that and for you to make that your dedicated, singular focus. Because this is the higher purpose for every one of us being here now. And I want you to acknowledge that and to, well, live within that. Because you are here for this very purpose. I mean, think about this. Your life has so much more meaning to it than what you had allowed yourself to experience, than what you have achieved already or so far. There's so much more for you than this. You have that inner knowing. Tell me if I'm right or if I'm right. You've known since you were probably a young child that you are here for something big, something substantial. You are here to make a big difference to a lot of people. You're here to contribute in some important way to the planet. You have that inner knowing because that's an absolute fact. That's an absolute truth. And this is right here, this action pod number 53 of our Operation Greatness freeingthematrix.com Parasite Cleansed podcast. This is it. This is where you're coming back into your power. You're becoming that strong leader of every one of your online friends, as well as everyone in your local community and your local region, because the world needs you being that inspired, visionary leader. That is your destiny to be. So be it. So let's go back to this original question. If you're not seeing yourself as one of the few strong people remaining in the world now, then do you see yourself as weak? Do you see yourself as helpless? Do you see yourself as insignificant, inconsequential, as someone who does not matter, or maybe is not even worthy of success, happiness, joy, fulfillment, well-being, peace of mind, prosperity, meaning, impact, contribution? Do you really see yourself that way? Because all of that, if you do, is false. That would be the wrong perception. That was, if that describes how you feel about yourself, that was a manipulation. You were programmed to feel like you are unworthy of love, undeserving of success or happiness, that you didn't matter. That was all a fraud. That was a complete manipulation. You were programmed, in fact, for scarcity, fear, lack, consciousness, to not believe in yourself, to feel like you're insignificant and that you don't matter. You were programmed to feel like you were helpless and small and weak. All of that is completely the opposite of what is true. I want to make sure that you are hearing this message and recognizing that, because we need you to open to your power, which is beyond measure, to not hold back or limit yourself in any way ever again, to not dilute your power or delude yourself into thinking you don't matter or that you are weak and helpless. Think about, okay, the yin and the yang symbol, where half of the circle is black and it spirals around, and then the other half of the circle is white, and in the black half is a white inner circle, and in the white half is a black inner circle, and that is a very powerful symbol representing the balance of light and dark, or good and evil, or righteousness and ignorance, or wisdom and ignorance, knowledge and ignorance, or you could say spirit and ego. There are so many different ways to talk about that. Let's just talk about it in terms of good and evil. So if you think about the balance of those two, and really hear this message and see this for yourself and think about this as you relate to it yourself in your life, in yourself, in your mind, and in the world today, and look at your children, because this is the constant struggle every one of us is battling within ourselves every day. With each decision we are making, with each choice we are taking, we're unconsciously, at least, doing this struggle, this battle of good versus evil. And you could even think of this in the context of, am I coming from love, or am I coming from selfishness, greed, scarcity, fear, lack? Like I mentioned, you were programmed for scarcity, fear, lack, to not believe in yourself, to feel like you don't matter. All of that is completely false. It was part of the manipulation. And so this is the battle that you have in your head, in your mind, every day. And it's a continuous struggle for good to triumph over evil, or to subdue the ego. You could look at it that way. Or you could look at it from, if you think in biblical terms, or the Christian perspective of God versus Satan, and the forces of good at war with the forces of evil or darkness. And yet, let's take a bigger picture now to what had been going on in the world. Because what if, since, let's go back to the time of Jesus, where the Pharisees were what? They were representing the governing structure, the organized control system. Or think of the Roman Empire And, the Catholic Church as being the justification for the Roman Empire to do all kinds of atrocities and evil. The emperor of Rome said everyone must follow my orders, and that means my religious edicts, otherwise they will be executed. So, in other words, like the pagan religions of the day, or, whatever, in the other countries, they had their own religions. And no, you will convert to my religion, which is the only religion, otherwise we will execute you. I mean, that's just plain outright evil, right? It's violence. There's no way to say that was okay unless someone is deluded, they have the evil, they have the veil over their head, over their eyes, and they're not seeing things. And anyway, so at that time, okay, so think of it in terms of, what if you are food for evil forces, and they've been just feeding off of you and your light by keeping you in the dark, keeping you in fear, in bondage, like weak financially, weak emotionally, weak in your relationships, weak in your happiness, unfulfilled. What if you feel empty inside? What if you're not being of service in the way that is your destiny? Because how happy you are, how fulfilled you are, how meaningful your life is, all of that is the result of you serving others, of you being of greater service to more people. That's your purpose. Your purpose is to make as much of a positive contribution as you can to as many people as you can. When you're doing that, when you're serving people, when you're contributing meaningfully to their lives, you feel fulfilled, you feel whole and complete, you feel good about yourself, because that's why every one of us is here. We're here to play our part. I talk about it as you're here to come from love, doing your part for the whole of humanity. That's your purpose, is to serve others, to contribute meaningfully to their lives, to make the world a better place, right? And yet think about that in terms of that yin and yang, good versus evil. Or you could say, it's so much more than just good versus evil. You could say that's like the dance between the sacred masculine and the sacred feminine. And what does that mean? That means, like, are you assertive? Are you passive? Are you taking action? You're a warrior, you're a fighter, or are you receiving the love of God, for example, or wisdom and knowledge? And ultimately, it's the balance of you could say, electric energy and magnetic energy. You could say it's just the play of, the three gunas is what it's called in Sanskrit. That's like the three gunas are, there's the active energy, and then there's the passive energy, and and then between the two is a synergy which transcends both of those energies. You could say the masculine and the feminine, and that synergy is called sattva, and that's when you're at peace inwardly and your life is just flowing, like you're in the currency of life, and you're not even, you're meant to be in that energy of peace and in the flow of life. It's called prana, or you could say the Holy Spirit. And that's how all of us are meant to live our lives at all times, in that flow. That phrase, in the flow, being in the zone, that's when you're just flowing with life, or you're letting life move you along, carry you along. And, so it's a combination of being active and also being, well, mindful, aware, and then you're also connected with life, connected with God, connected with yourself, your higher purpose, your vision, your reason for being. I call it your divine design, duty, destiny, dharma. And when you're in that flow, then it's like there's no care in the world. You're kind of like, if you think of the tarot card, I love this visual for how we are here to live our lives, of the Fool, where the card shows like one cliff, one cliff, and then another cliff with a big canyon in the middle of it, and there's a tightrope walking, between one side and the other side, and the Fool is just like whistling, and he's kind of like a court jester, and he's just strolling like he's in a walk in the park, but he's walking this tightrope from one cliff, one corner of the world to the other, and he's just in bliss. He's just flowing with life. That's what sattvic is, and you're meant to live your life that way. So where are you in that dynamic? Are you more active, like I'm the take charge person, I'm the strong leader, I'm moving mountains and transforming the world, like President Trump is the most widely known example of that, I think, in the world today? Versus, are you passive? Are you weak? Are you helpless? And I think that would probably describe, I don't know, do you think it's in the 90-some percentage of the people now? They feel like, oh, I hope President Trump is not evil. I hope he's doing what's good for the country in purging evil from our lives. And some people, people, think, oh, I hope he's going to save us. Like they make him the savior, the Jesus figure of our modern era. And they think he's going to ride in on a white horse, and then evil's just going to run to the hills. Versus, so people, okay, so let's back up even more here. Because evil had been feeding off of our fear and keeping us weak, keeping us barely surviving, keeping us not believing in ourselves, in scarcity, fear, lack consciousness for thousands of years. And because of that balance, has been out of balance between good and evil. It's been out of balance, and evil has, think of it as evil continuously wants more, because evil will never be satisfied, because evil is from ego. And what does ego mean? It means not God. There's a deep insight. I want you to recognize that. Like, think of, who are the examples of evil on the planet today? Like Bill Gates, Fauci, Communist Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, well, Hillary Clinton is one of the prime ones, George Soros, of course. All of these people, they're coming from what? Ego. They think that they're, the greatest thing, and there's no humility there. There's no wisdom there, or intelligence either. Yes, some of them are smart people, or what's his name, Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum, the agents of evil that organized the globalists, the communists, and their attempted totalitarian takeover. All of these people are just from ego, or, they think technology is what we need, that will save us. Well, what is technology? It's the absence of, it's from ego, and it's really the absence of God. It's about disconnection. Like Mark Zuckerberg is now saying that you're going to have a bot or a robot on Facebook, and it's going to be your best friend. And, people who are relying on AI to connect, well, that doesn't meet our need to connect, because it's false. It's all a false premise. There is no connection in the virtual world. I mean, it is that straightforward and simple and clear and plain and obvious. If you're centered within yourself, if you're in the currency of life, I mean, how do you respond to that? And because how many of us were disconnected in our community and even in our family? I mean, like the stereotypical example of maybe four people are eating dinner together, but they're not together at all. Each one is in their dumbing device, where that had become their whole world, and they're disconnected from reality, from life, from the world, from their power, from their center, from their purpose, from each other, and from God. I mean, that's how out of alignment, out of balance, out of harmony our world had become because of the dumbing device. The agent of disconnection, disempowerment, distraction, division, despair, discombobulation. I mean, how many other D's come to mind for you? The dumbing device is responsible for that, which really is to say we are responsible for that because we bought into the manipulation, the programming for scarcity, fear, lack consciousness. I mean, so go to freeingthematrix.com and talk about all of this. This is the conversation every one of us must have because we're facing the complete control over all of our lives because of our reliance on the technology to save us, and because of our feeling helpless and weak and dependent and unable to provide for ourselves, and because of our disconnection, that's only reinforcing that, because we feel empty inside, so we're needing that connection, but we're searching outside of where it is. The connection is between humans, like male and female. I mean, you remember the two energies that are always at play with each other and within each of us. And yet if we don't have that balance, if we're like entirely left brain and we're not right brain balanced, then we're not in harmony. And that, that scales are tilted over toward evil right now on the planet. And that's why I'm asking you, if you're still strong, humanity needs you now. So how are you relating to all this? Where are you fitting into this yourself? How much of your life had been disconnected from life? And how empty had you as a result become or felt? Are you ready to change that? Are you ready to be strong again? Are you ready to step up and connect with people in your local community, such as by leading your own Operation Greatness chapter, which is one of the subsets of our freeingthematrix.com mastermind? So will you take the lead in leading all of your online friends, for sure, into this action pod number 53? If you're still strong, humanity needs you now. Will you be that inspired visionary leader of every one of your online friends, where you are actively leading them into this conversation, into this podcast, and where you're taking the initiative, you're initiating it, that every one of your online friends are joining us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind through your link, and you're getting your link once you've joined us yourself. Go to the About page, and then at the right side there's the logo, and then under that is a button that says Invite People. Click on that Invite People button and use your Invite People link in all of the posts that you are making as you are leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating, LITL, all of your online friends, doing a little more today in being of greater service to more people, because that's exactly what the world needs now, is these strong leaders who are taking the action and leading every one of their online friends into recognizing the programming by evil for every one of us to come from scarcity, fear, lack, and to poison us. I mean, your food is poisoned, your air is poisoned, your water is poisoned, and then you are poisoning yourself by taking in all of that, but also by taking in the toxic poisoning of your mind through the shows you watch, through the movies you see, through the music you hear. I mean, all of this is the action of evil to destroy us, and we need the people who are still strong among us to step up and to own their power and to get back to leading every one of us to reconnect with each other and to come back into connection as our families, as our neighbors, as our neighborhoods, as our communities, as our towns, villages, cities, as our country. I mean, we have our work to do here, and if you do not sense the urgency of that, we have to take back our country and our world from evil before they implement. I mean, they're following the 2030 agenda from the World Economic Forum, which says that if you're not familiar with this, well, make sure that you're aware of this. It's all over the place. If you look for it, if you open your eyes to what's happening, you can see it happening, where by 2030, they say, I mean, this is what agent of evil Klaus Schwab famously said, by 2030 you will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, what does owning nothing mean? It means like Bill Gates bought all this land and built this smart city down in Buckeye, Arizona, or near there, and in other words, it's like you're under complete totalitarian control. You will own nothing. You don't own your home anymore. You live in these smart cities. The globalists own everything. They want to own all of the resources. They want to own all of the land, the water, the minerals, the air, they're doing anyway. I mean, it's up to every one of us. If you value your life and if you value your children's lives and if you value the earth, well, we have to stop this. It's pretty obvious. It's plain and simple. And especially we need to do this now before they force upon us the central digital bank currency, CBDC, like the digital IDs. They want to do that too. And that would be like Chinaizing America, where they can control where you travel, how much money you have, whether you have any money at all, or whether, oh no, you were a bad person because you posted something against this agenda of totalitarian control. So now your funds are locked up or they were taken from you, and they want complete control over us. They want you connected to the cloud so that they can just dictate your thoughts even and control even everything that you are imagining. I mean, so the idea of freedom is completely gone from your life if you allow that to happen. I mean, anyway, all of this is just right on schedule, and it's up to us to stop it. If you care about your life and if you care about the world you have left to your children, then become strong, get rid of the toxic programming, stop the poisoning and the self-sabotaging of yourself. And we're doing this all together through our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. We need every one of us stepping up and being part of this. Is there any question about your role in this? I mean, the truth is that you have all the power. We have all the power. I am sovereign. I am free. This is my duty, my destiny. You are sovereign. You are free. This is your duty, your destiny. We are sovereign. We are free. This is our duty, our destiny. Is there any question about any of this? Because this is the absolute truth, and every one of us is needed now in living our destiny, in asserting our sovereignty, in reconnecting with our power and with each other and with our communities and our families and our purpose and God. And this is the most urgent, pressing thing that we have ever faced. And yet, here's the thing, our power is beyond measure. And that's what they had successfully programmed out of us, that awareness, distracting us from our true power and purpose. And yet we are here on the planet at this time because this is the time in human history where good has finally triumphed over evil. And that's happening by you doing this yourself and by you leading, inspiring, transforming, and liberating everyone connected with you, all your online friends, to make sure that they are stepping up as that inspired visionary leader among all of their friends. And that's how we're taking our power back. That's how we're liberating humanity. So that requires you stepping up, being strong, stopping the poisoning, and we're doing that through parasitecleansed.com, where you are becoming parasite cleansed. You're no longer, well, you're getting rid of all the poisoning that was in your life, and you're stopping it. You're no longer injecting it into your body and your mind and your emotional body and your spiritual body as well. This requires every one of us taking action, no longer being like helpless and weak and food for the parasites. They've been feeding off of us for way too long. We were too weak for way too long. This is our responsibility. We have to take action and be responsible and be positive, inspired leaders of every one of our online friends and every one of our communities. We have to get back to coming together as the human family we are and owning our power and commanding our destiny. Is there any question about this? So talk about this in great detail in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, and make sure that you are leading every one of your friends through this conversation where they are joining us and talking about this in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, as well as leading the conversation among all of their online friends. So right now, go back to the beginning of this Operation Greatness Action Pod number 53. If you're still strong, humanity needs you now. And watch this from the beginning, or hear this from the beginning. I'm creating this video for our Operation Greatness chapter leaders, which is it's a subset of our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. So I'm recording this as video because to me the video is so much more powerful than the audio only. Anyway, go back to the beginning, hear this podcast from the beginning, pause at each point, relate it to your life and how you perceive the world, and then share your thoughts with all of your online friends, making sure that they are hearing this podcast, joining us in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, and being that inspired visionary leader of all of their online friends as well, just as you're doing yourself. And in all of the posts that you're making, use your invite people link, because then you're getting half of the $59 per month fee to join us in the freeingthematrix.com mastermind. So it only takes 2 people among all of your online friends joining us in the mastermind through your link for that to be free for you. And yet this is meant to be financial freedom money for every one of us, because it's how we're becoming strong. By leading, inspiring, and transforming and liberating every one of our friends online as well as in our communities. That's the greatest thing that we have ever done, and the most important way for each of us to become free. So do this yourself if you haven't already joined us as part of the freeingthematrix.com mastermind. How are you hearing this message and stepping up and being that inspired visionary leader yourself? How important do you know that is for you to do? How clear is it that this is the higher purpose of your life? It's why you are on the planet at this time. Because all of us stepping up and being that inspired visionary leader through you doing this yourself, and then everyone connected with you doing this for everyone connected with them, That's how we are liberating humanity. That's how we're taking back our planet, and that's from evil. We're taking our planet where good is triumphing over evil. That's you by you doing this in your life and making sure that you're coming from love and abundance and being a generous example of how powerful every one of us really is. So become that example yourself. You are so much more powerful than you can ever even comprehend or imagine. So be that leader, that inspiration, that example for everyone in the world. Show every one of us who you are and why you are here. Never play small ever again. Never take any more of the poison ever again. I mean, become parasite cleansed yourself. That's a subset as well of our freeingthematrix.com mastermind, just as Operation Greatness is. Lead, inspire, transform, and liberate everyone you are blessed to be able to serve. Any questions about all of this? Talk about this in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. So the last thing is to take all the posts that you have made as you're transforming and liberating everyone connected with you, all through your freeingthematrix.com invite people link. Take all the posts that you have made from this action pod number 53, if you're still strong, humanity needs you now, and put them into the essay that, as always, you are sending me at dan@danclatt.com. And then post that same essay in our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. And then use the posts or the essays that everyone else is sharing to further lead, inspire, transform, and liberate everyone connected with you, including everyone in your local community. You are strong. You have so much more power than you can ever imagine. Now you're using it. Now you're stepping up and you are being of greater service. And that's your source of happiness, joy, fulfillment, well-being, peace of mind, success, prosperity, meaning, impact, contribution. The more you are contributing meaningfully to others, the more you are being of service, the more life is supporting you to be of even greater service. So this is the mind shift. This is the transformation in every one of us, where good is triumphing over evil, and where we're coming from love and abundance and generous service instead of scarcity, fear, lack. We know how much we matter, and we're helping everyone else see how much they matter as well. And this is the greatest contribution every one of us is making, because it's the higher purpose of all of our lives. And we're doing this together through our freeingthematrix.com mastermind. Any questions? I love you. I believe in you. I know how much you matter. I know how strong you are, because your power is greater than you can ever even imagine. Now you're getting a taste of that. Now you're flowing with the currency of life and being of greater service to everyone connected with you. And this is the greatest thing you've ever done, because this is your higher purpose. It's why you are here on the planet at this time. So share your thoughts about all of this and be bold, be in your power, in your center, be purposeful, be mindful, stop the poisoning for sure. And I will walk you through that if you're interested at parasitecleansed.com/3P. That's the 30-day poison purge program that we're doing together, and becoming parasite cleansed is required of every one of us now. So anyway, this is all for us all through the freeingthematrix.com mastermind. So thank you, thank you, thank you.